Yo, what's happening, people? And welcome back to the Tiki Taka podcast, where you're going to hear hot takes, unbiased opinions, and hopefully have a couple laughs along the way. And we've chosen to record the episode later this week because I don't think anybody really wants to hear us talk about the Premier League. And we don't really want to sit here and talk about the Premier League because things seem to be done. Last weekend for the Premier League was a very, very dry weekend. I mean, maybe we should touch on it briefly, but
I don't think so.
the Manchester derby.
Oh, that specific game.
Yeah, and I mean, what's
it called?
It's mainly that game, but obviously the weekend's results in general were a bit meh. But that game in general was just, I mean, Gary Neville said there's an illness in the game afterwards, players being micromanaged. Roy Keane said it was a friendly derby. I mean, you said you watched the first half. And then you knew that nothing was happening. It was just an awful game.
There's just not much intensity.
Yeah,
in Premier League football right now. There's not much
jeopardy.
Much of that,
I guess
there's not much intensity.
I guess the more interesting conversation with that is how much of that is not his fault, but Pep's fault.
Pep's in terms of what Gary
Pep's
means.
Doing.
Gary means about the sickness,
micromanaging, but inch-of-your-life and systematic and robotic.
I feel like so 50-50 on this because I agree that obviously Pep's changed football and there are downsides to the ways in which Pep's changed football. But as I was kind of telling you when we were speaking about the game, it's like Pep said himself, all I can do is coach guys to get to the final third, and then I need the quality of the players to shine through. Yeah, so I hear it of like the positional play. It's gone too far now, and every manager wanting to emulate the positional play stuff all the time, it's gone too far now. But does that, in the middle of a derby, stop someone from taking a shot, stop someone from trying to beat a man, stop someone from, having any sort of individuality of his own? Yeah. Like, how much of that is all on Pep? And some of these guys, I was saying, if you're in Pep's team, I hear you, and I'll kill Pep for it, yeah? Because I know you won't play next week.
Yeah.
If you don't do what he says.
Yeah.
I know.
Touchline.
Yeah, I know.
Recycle the ball.
You won't play next week. If you don't do what Pep says, if Pep's telling you to do X, Y, and Z, and you're not doing it, you're not going to play next week. That's it. That's done. It's over for you.
Yeah.
But for some of you other teams and you other managers who are trying to emulate Pep, and it's not like Bruno had a bad game or nothing, but I'm just using him as an example. Bruno, who knows I'm playing next week. Regardless of how I play today, regardless of what happens today, I'm going to play next week. I think those are the players we should put more pressure on to add something to the game.
Yeah.
Because you're going to play next week, bro. This is a derby. You have the quality to score goals and make things happen. And as I say, I'm not digging out Bruno. I'm just speaking more generally about...
Yeah. It's mad that we're at a point where we seem to be asking Bruno to take more risks.
Yeah. Do more crazy
stuff.
Had
enough of it. No more risks.
Do more crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But...
Because then on the flip side, I'm like... And I agree with your point there that there's good and bad to what Pep's done. But then Gary Neville's made this point about we're seeing poor imitations
of Pep.
Yeah. And I don't know how true that is because we talk about the quality in the league. Fabian Herzler, right? You can quote unquote imitation of Pep that we love to watch.
Yeah.
Iraola, we love to watch. Marco Silva, Thomas Frank. All of these managers in the league that are playing this way, but at the top of the league, it just seems a bit like that because I guess, in particular, that Manchester derby, like you say, like there's a lack of intensity because there's not really anything on that.
There's nothing on the line.
And Ruben Amorim said that, to be fair. He came out and said, like, look at where Man City are and the season they're having. Look at where we are. It's not going to be an end-to-end, like, full of individual quality kind of game.
Both going into the game, Gary was saying at the end about players being happy to take the 0-0. Yeah. And that was true going into the game.
Go for a roast afterwards.
Yeah, we'll share dinner, whatever it is. Going into the game, that was the case. Like, United, the win doesn't really move the needle. And for City, I think just not losing
away from home
was good enough.
But for United fans are like, with 14th or whatever, if we lose this game, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So go and try and win it.
And I hear that from a fan's perspective.
Yeah, but then Amrim's trying to build confidence.
Exactly. I hear that from a fan's perspective, but if a United player was to lose it via trying to win it, they would kill him. And I'm still on the like, you should still try and win it.
Yeah.
As a fan, but if you're a player and you're in the moment and you know that this is not one to lose, it doesn't really matter if we win, but this is just not one to lose. It's like, oh, but it's 70th minute, 75th minute, 0-0. I'm happy. I don't need to take risks.
Yeah.
But I agree. The overall trend of football is a lot more robotic. The overall trend of football is a lot more like, it seems as if players don't have as much license, or a lot more like, players don't have as much license as they used to. But I think it also kind of depends on the jeopardy of the game. If games have jeopardy, if United needed to win 3 points to get to the top 4, we would have seen players try more.
Yeah.
We would have seen players
100%.
we would have seen players do more to make an effort to win the game. If City were on a run to win the league and they were 2 points behind Liverpool and they just needed the win, we would have seen
City go and get the goal.
Play or at least do more. And like, I forget managers' orders. I just need to whack that one in, or I just need to whatever it is.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
But look, I thought we should touch on that because we went from that on the weekend
to
Champions League football, and we made the decision to do this pod after the Champions League football, and we made that decision on Sunday before we knew the results. So whether Arsenal had lost, whether they had drawn, whether we would have been here talking about what we've seen. Obviously, we've seen something absolutely unreal, but a lot of fans, football fans in general, not just Arsenal fans, fans from rival clubs, which I wasn't expecting, talking about Arsenal restoring the feeling. Yoga Bonito football is back. Premier League needed this.
Football needed this, they said.
Yeah, football needed this.
The feels are back.
And that's all coming from rival fans off the back of what was a horror Premier League weekend. So, as per, if you're a long-standing fan of the show, you will remember this, but we have the return of the JK Penitentiary after 6-7 months out. We're back. Please welcome Mbappe, Vinny Jr., Rodrigo, Jude Bellingham to the JK Penitentiary. We are back.
Yeah.
We're running. We'll be here till the end of the season, most likely.
Yeah. Well, I had Calafiori's back.
Yeah. Well, you can on bench. We just had this absolute monster club.
Play them all. Play every single one of them.
Yeah. If Lewis Kelly needs rest for Brentford, Calafiori can come in. And but yeah, look, Arsenal 3, Real Madrid 0, and I can't believe that as I'm saying it. The atmosphere at the Emirates was unbelievable. It was probably, guys are saying, the greatest night in Emirates history. Probably is.
Yeah.
I mean, when you beat a team like Real Madrid 3-0, it's just.
I mean, the way I look at it is, and this is why it's equally as ridiculous, is like the scoreline is one thing. Beating Real Madrid 3-0, that statement alone is one thing, almost no matter how it happens. And then the performance of like watching it all play out is another thing. And to like beat Real Madrid 3-0, because you could just say Arsenal beat Real Madrid 3-0, but maybe Real Madrid had the red card in the first 10 minutes and the game was skewed, and we also got a penalty decision.
Had a master class.
Yeah. And all that kind of stuff. And it's like, but even still, even if all of that was to be true, and we had won 3-0, I would still be here, grin on my face. That's, as happy as I've ever been. But for Arsenal to beat Real Madrid 3-0 and also comprehensively back that up in performance, this should have been 4, 5, or 6.
Your keeper had the masterclass.
I think that is like beyond still my realm of processing. I still can't really process because I can see the scoreline, but I know it's more than that. And I think that's what's crazy.
And that actually touches into the first point that I'm going to make of that. Like you say, we could have won 3-0 and it could have been. Obviously, when you win 3-0, it's difficult to say. It's a shaky game or whatever. We could have won 3-0 and it could have been a bit shaky.
Under different circumstances.
They rattled the crossbar and hit the post and we're on edge and Kiwi was nervous. But we've won 3-0. You said there could have been 5 or 6. I think Mikel Arteta is the first person that we kind of have to come to here.
100%.
Because those things, we watched a preview, and Sharky said that Arteta will coach a 5-0. I thought, yeah, the tax on the gas on that is too much, and I should have listened, because from minute 1 to minute 90, I think we dominated Real Madrid. The one real chance I can remember them having is the Mbappe one.
Yeah.
And that's from like a Saliba's caught our position slightly because he's trying to get involved in the build-up or whatever.
Gets past Partey.
Yeah.
And within 2
it's
seconds,
1-on-1.
Within 2 seconds,
Mbappe's 5 yards beyond the defensive line, whatever. Other than that, I think it was just domination from minute 1 to minute 90. And that can only mean that Mikel Arteta got his tactics spot on, because the quality on the pitch, everybody, if they're doing combined 11s and whatever, have more Real Madrid players. So it has to then come down to a managerial thing of, can I get my stuff right to minimize the gap between what they have and what we have?
I think the biggest credit I give Arteta as well is beyond the tactical stuff, which he was, I agree with you, like 100% spot on for. Every sort of tactical tweak that he did put into the game showed. But I think he's outdone himself on a man management, like maybe group management level, of genuinely gearing up a hobbled Arsenal team to believe that they can beat Real Madrid or put in a performance worthy of beating Real Madrid. Like, and obviously, I love to give Arteta his praise for the tactical stuff, because he can deliver tactical masterclasses. But this is just a notch in his cap, or a feather, a notch in his bow, whatever that expression is.
Yeah.
On Arteta, like, corralling a group of guys to genuinely be, as you say, Gabriel's out, Kivio's got to play, we're missing Havertz, Marino's got to start up front, Saka's back, he's like 25%, 40%, whatever it is, he's just on 3 months off, and this is his, I think this might be his first start, like, legitimate start.
Yeah, it was his first start.
An
18-year-old having to play left back.
18-year-old having to play left back.
Final.
Like, we can sort of go on. But to genuinely, in the Champions League quarterfinal, bro, it's not even that this is just like a friendly game where, nothing's on the line here. But this is a Champions League quarterfinal. We've got injuries. We've got all of this going on. And Arteta's got 11, 12, 15 guys to genuinely believe that we can win at the Emirates. Even when a lot of fans wouldn't have predicted that. And like, fans are easily way more delusional than the players.
Yeah.
Like, you got like a consensus of Arsenal fans that wouldn't have predicted a win, let alone a 3-0 win. And somehow Arteta's got that vibe across, or that message across, that this is doable. And then it comes to the tactical stuff. If you do this, Skelly, Partey, you're here. And
because even Declan Rice said that, and Declan Rice was like, the manager was very big on, like, we need to actually understand that we can beat these guys.
Yeah.
And we can go and win this game.
Also, as an Arsenal fan now, it's tough to like separate my life before this result
and what life's been like afterwards.
Like, did I genuinely always believe that this was possible? Now I'm like, oh yeah.
I mean,
did I genuinely believe that this was possible? Genuinely, I don't know if I did.
I said the whole time, no matter who I spoke to, that I think we can win the home game.
Yeah, I was on board with that.
Yeah, right. And I personally genuinely believed that, because I thought, like, I don't know, I think West Ham might be the only team that have beaten us at the Emirates this season, and we both had that game. That was just a fucking nonsense, bullshit, low block, can't break them down, nastiness, whatever, I've seen what we've done to Man City. I've seen Liverpool come. I've seen how difficult the Emirates can be. But at the same time, as much as I was saying that I can see us winning, I also would have taken a draw.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, 3-0. But the dream scenario was 2-0. And that was even when Gabriel was fit. Yeah, once Gabriel went out, then things started to get a bit more
Can we move the nil?
And then your point about, okay, do I genuinely believe it now, when I know that there's not the Gabriel header and the Gabriel lock-up. And,
communication.
And look, there's people we need to talk about. Guys will remember when we beat Liverpool last year, we basically had a
rattled off. Yeah.
We're gonna try not to do that today, but there's a lot of guys to talk about. And it's only right that after Mikel Arteta who shout out Mikel Arteta. He's given Arsenal fans something that they'll remember
forever.
Yeah,
Literally forever.
Declan Rice.
Starting
Now,
there.
we have to. Where else can we start?
Maybe you build before the main meal. And I'm joking.
Come on. I've gone from the most important, which is the gaffer, to come on, man. You do something like that.
So from main course to main course.
We're not going to do what Cam's did.
Yeah, there's no
talk about
building.
Arsenal at the end of the show. Everyone's here to hear us talk about Arsenal. I already put a bit of filler of the Premier League stuff in. If you are at this point, subscribe. I forgot to say that at the start.
Yeah.
If you're watching, please subscribe down below. But Declan Rice, man, like there's always talk on Declan Rice. I think rival fans always
have something to say.
They always want to try and put Declan Rice down because they know they won't get that chance for another 7 months, maybe. Yeah, because of Declan Rice's consistency. And we've said from a couple months ago that we kind of realized, like, in terms of the media and rival fans, and Declan Rice is just judged on what he does going forward now.
Yeah.
Like everything, his defensive part of the game is most of his midfield part of the game is so solid, so sturdy that he's just judged on goals and assists. And
I still think, with that being said, obviously, Tuesday is like, it moves him to a different stratosphere. But even if you're just judging him on going forward, I would still say, and maybe that is a biased opinion, that he's overdoing or like overachieving. Like Rice was, before we had signed him, just purely a 6. That's what people thought of Rice. He's just purely a 6. Arteta says, I think you can do the 8 thing a little bit. I think you can add goals and assists to your game. And he gets like, 5 goals. What did he get last season?
Yeah. Last season, he might have got like 6 and 6 or something.
Something along those lines, which I would have said is an overachievement for a guy who, for the last couple of years, we've expected nothing more than 2 goals, 1 assist type stuff. So for him to solely be judged on this, and this still to be where he is and how he's pushing the needle, I'm shocked. And I was a Rice hater. Not hater, but...
No, I hate her.
I would say I was a naysayer. I think that's the word I would use. Before Rice joined the football club, I
remember what side of the debate you were on.
Before Rice joined the football club, I thought he was in the mold of Mark Noble. Yeah, bro. I've copped my pleas already. I've said my P's and Q's and stuff before. But on a day like Tuesday, it just comes full circle of thinking, like, I was literally genuinely thinking, what is Rice's weaknesses? Yeah. And not things that like, he could improve upon, and it would be better if he was, able to do this and to do that, or he only does this at a 7 out of 10 level. What are generally things that Rice does at a 2 out of 10 level? Yeah. Or 3 out of 10 level.
Well, we know what Scorcher would say.
and that's such a niche thing.
Is it half space, half 10, or?
And that's Pep. That's what Pep's done to the modern game.
Yeah.
That's one of the that's a negative on Pep's side. Now we're only judging guys on how they handle half spaces.
But I mean, on Tuesday he was picking up the ball in some of those spaces, and you
zip.
Yeah, you said aside from the 2 goals, which we will get to, because we have to.
Yeah, it's
part of it. You said aside from the 2 goals, he was probably still
I still
midfielder.
And that's to my point of like, why he's above the Mark Noble mold is because he cannot just do a bit of everything, but excel at a bit of everything.
I mean, we could have said he's above the Mark Noble mold in any other game.
Time ago.
We're not using this game
to justify
the Mark Noble level. Look, this game, like,
it comes onto my second. It comes onto my
Rodri. Those are conversations.
It comes onto my second bullet point. Since learning that Rice is above the Mark Noble mold, for the Tuesday performance, he's on the world stage with Jude. We've got Camavinga. We've got Fede. We've got Modric. So it's like massive talents of old, some generational talents of the new age, and Declan Rice is the best midfielder on the pitch. Yeah. Even if it's a standalone game, whatever it is, however you want to view it, if you're a Declan Rice hater, it is in the history books. On that day at the Emirates, Declan Rice was the best player on the pitch. And I still think that aside of the goals, but he did it all in midfield. He literally is an all-action midfielder. The whole stuff about Declan Rice can't do this, can't do that it is agenda talk or narrative talk 100%. To put limitations on his game rather than respect him as just one of the best midfielders.
It's also a point of like those things that guys say Declan Rice can't do this, can't do that. Like, in most teams, in most capacities, in most like players, whatever, playing in that position, you shouldn't have to do those things, right? Saying that Declan Rice can't do this and can't do that, like Declan Rice does what he does to an extremely high level, and that should be cool.
Yeah.
But because this part of his game is the game that people feel like, well, no, we can target this part of. That's why they just judge him on that now.
It also kind of is a compliment to Declan Rice, because the thing about these like really, really, really top players is that they find one really specific thing that, and then they just make that your Achilles heel.
To flip it, it would be like guys getting onto Jude for not being able to cover the centre back. And like anticipate play in fullback areas.
It's always like the way I would get onto Steph Curry for not taking the clutch 3 down by to put us up 1-3. Yeah. And he's done that in his career. Obviously, he's done that kind of stuff. But I made it a narrative because it was really the only, out of all the great things that he did, of how exceptional he was, it was the only niche thing I could maybe use to dampen his name.
The Steph thing, Jude's a 10, right? We shouldn't be asking Jude to cover Rudiger and track back and be in the right spaces, and like when the centre back split and we shouldn't be asking, but that's essentially what guys are asking of Declan Rice, is do everything at the highest level.
Yeah, and he does it. He more weeks than not, he actually often does it.
Yeah,
and he's been a revelation, and obviously a lot of guys have questioned the £100 million price tag and all that kind of stuff. And I can tell you right now, as an Arsenal fan, like it was worth 100 mil.
Yeah,
just for the cheers and the hooplas of Tuesday night. Literally. And if Rice will go on to do more things for the football club, Rice will go on to further repay us and all of that kind of stuff. But we've just beaten Real Madrid 3-0 at home, guys.
Yeah.
You know, Rice will score 2 direct free kicks.
And also, how many times have we said Rice has paid back the transfer
since
he joined Arsenal before Tuesday? He came on the Man United goal when he first came. The winner. Performances against City. Goals against Chelsea. Whatever it might be.
Set pieces, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it might be. And then, like you say, to do that against Real Madrid is the icing on the cake. So the first free kick. But guys are trying to get onto Courtois' wall. Saying Courtois should have a 5th man in the wall.
Do you know what's funny about that is, really, this is what's killing football, by the way. And I know this is not like a major point. I know that people are saying stuff about the wall, but it's not the overall sort of story. But I really, truly think if anybody scores a free kick, a direct free kick, and it goes straight in, and we're talking about the wall, we don't love the game. There's a part of you that is a hater.
Especially a free kick like that.
Exactly.
If it goes through the wall, you can get onto the wall for breaking away.
Breaking up. That's the only time I can accept wall slander. If it goes straight through the wall.
You know the Van Persie one, when Nasri hides behind and it clips his foot and then goes in that Manchester derby. That I can get onto Nasri for that. You're being a pussy there.
But if somebody smacks it in from 40 yards, 45 yards, and your first initial thought is the positioning of the wall, and who should be where, and how many men should be in the wall, and they only had 3 instead of 4, or they only had 4 instead of 5. But just tell me you hate football. Just tell me that you don't like.
Now you're doing the micromanagement of every little detail.
Just tell me that you don't want to see excitement in the game. Just tell me that you don't want to see golazos and screamers and all of the above. This first free kick, though, I mean, it's even crazier because I think you have to do them in context with each other. I couldn't quite believe that this one had gone in. And then times that statement by 10 when the next one had gone in. Everybody knows how long Arsenal have not scored a free kick for, gone without free kicks for. If you're an Arsenal fan in particular, man, how many times have you almost had a deep sigh when we have a free kick in a dangerous area for the last 4 years, knowing that nothing's going to happen here? Like, you'd have rather have just played on. You'd have rather have maybe them had a counter, so you could counter. You're more likely to score that way.
Slow the game down.
That West Ham game that you mentioned, the guy next to me, we had a free kick in the first half, a free kick in the second half, and the guy next to me was like, "Well, we never score free kicks. I don't even know why." And the problem about free kicks is there's build up.
Yeah, we take so long.
Raya comes out.
Yeah,
Raya
yeah,
has to
yeah.
say something, and there's four guys, five.
Wheels coming
Yeah,
over
there's five
and
guys in the wall who are whispering things, and
100%.
it's like it's a good 5 minutes before the free kick's taken, only for somebody to hit the wall, go over the bar,
And they were
whatever it
telling
is.
him to cross it.
But the first one, I personally, the question is going to come out. I know you're going to ask me first or second one. I think the second one is better. I definitely think it's a better moment. But I've got a lot of time for the first one, for that specific angle of when Rice bends it round the wall jumps, and bro, I literally cannot describe the feeling of a direct free kick goal in a quarterfinal versus Real Madrid. To put you up.
Bro, I couldn't describe a feeling of a direct free kick goal. It's been that long. I couldn't tell you what that feels like. Forget quarterfinal.
To put you up.
Yeah.
Courtois, best in the world, best in class. Yeah.
And the first one starts like 5 yards outside the post. Goes back in. The 6'6" keeper at full stretch.
We've got to say, I guess we'll do the whole Saka thing later, but we've got to give a lot of shout out to Saka.
We will do. And the second one, you said it there. I was going to ask you about which one's better. Personally, I do think the second one's a better free kick. Because I think the second one is just. But I've said it to you. What is that?
I will say this. I'll literally say this. The moment for me of it is so clear that the second one, like the moment of the second one going in.
Yeah.
I already told you I couldn't believe the first one had gone in. It's been 4 years.
I said in the chat, in it, like I'm looking at Courtois, yeah. And if you listen to this pod, you know what we think of Courtois, the best goalkeeper in the world, 6'6", the prototype of a goalkeeper. Some of Courtois' claims and double saves, and Courtois could have been Real Madrid's best player. Probably was Real Madrid's
I don't know how he
player.
gets up off the ground so quickly.
Yeah.
He's 6'6".
Yeah, right. For not only once in the first half, but does it again, second half with Marino. But I'm thinking the second one, okay, well, Courtois, he's the best in the world, so he's going to understand that Rice has just beaten me, so my wall's positioned. I'm like, there's just no way Courtois is going to get beat again. And the only way he probably does get beat again is with the free kick that
Declan Rice puts in. The moment of that second one going in, like
you talk postage stamp, yeah. I don't think it gets more postage stamp.
Bro, I was fully expecting this one to go into Rosette,
Rice to laugh
straight into the wall, and everybody to say, "All right, calm down," and that would have been fine because the first one's already gone in, and I couldn't believe that. So that would have been fine if this one went into Rosette. For this one to fly, as you say, bro, postage stamp, top bins. Like, it's gone keeper side. This is a 6'6" keeper, 6 foot whatever keeper, and he's not got within sort of 4 or 5 yards of the ball.
He shouldn't dive,
and it's already gone in.
He shouldn't dive. If that's any other goalkeeper, they don't dive for it.
But I just can't still, and I have it replaying in my head a million times over. I still just can't believe how that has flown in. I still just can't believe how that has flown in. It is. It's beyond belief, man. It's quite literally. Oh, I was gonna say that second moment when the goal goes in, it's like there's very few times this happens to me in football. I think one of the only other times I can think of it is like the Aguero goal when he wins the league for City. And not that that's the only one, but it's the only one that definitely springs to mind. But when that second goal goes in, I was genuinely in a state of like, am I dreaming? Is this real? Has this just happened? Can this happen?
I've got one to throw in there.
Oh, okay. I know what you're gonna say. Yeah, I knew you was gonna say Calafiori.
Did you feel like you were dreaming that?
I did feel like I was dreaming. And the Calafiori one.
Well, two, that one and Miles Lewis-Kelly
against City.
Because the Miles Lewis-Kelly one was very surreal. It was very like,
even the Reece Nelson one.
Yeah. But I've told you that one I just put in its own bracket. Like the way I felt destiny was taking a part in my life that day.
But handful of times that I can genuinely tell you, like, I've watched a lot of football games. I've done a lot of minutes over the years and all this kind of stuff. But genuinely, like, pinching myself, like, have I really just seen that happen? Am I lucid dreaming? Am I in some sort of glaze or some sort of haze? Some, have I taken something too strong? Is there something
100%. I get what you're saying.
Like, I've genuinely, like, it's beyond like you can't really conceive that. Rice has never done that before.
You know, like on this point, yeah, at the end of the game, when the final whistle blew and I came down from the stadium and I was in the concourse, I was actually thinking, like, have people all around the world just seen, or was this like an enclosed space with like some deserted island?
The silo, these screens,
the silo where
these screens real.
We've got a community in here, and we've just watched like a replay or a rerun, or did this 90 minutes just happen? Like,
we've never seen it before. We've literally never seen it before. It takes time to process. It takes time for my mind to compute things that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
I've never seen,
Yeah.
And I'm reeling. It's been 2 days. It's been 2 nights sleep. I'm still reeling. I still can't quite believe that Declan Rice will score 2 direct free kicks from 40 and 50 yards to get there. And yes, they will get further and further away each time.
Guys are saying it's the best free kick they've seen. Already labeling it as one of the best Champions League goals ever.
Yeah. I will never. I'm literally questioning whether or not I'm alive. I'm literally questioning whether or not I'm a real human being in this moment. So how can I tell you, no, it's not the best I've ever seen?
Yeah. 100%.
You know?
And look, Declan Rice, I'm happy for him. He even said himself that like he doesn't think it will hit him quite what he's done for this football club in this game. But you mentioned him there briefly before, Bukayo Saka. He's back in the team, the star boy. And I can't heap enough praise on Bukayo Saka. I absolutely love Bukayo Saka. And on a pitch, I'm going to steal Liez's bar here, so bear with me. But on a pitch with Mbappe, Vinny, Rodrigo, and Jude Bellingham, Bukayo Saka was the best attacker on the pitch. Hands down, categorically, can't be argued with by anybody that watched that game. Bukayo Saka was the best attacker on that pitch. And they asked him in the press conference before the game about Vinny and Mbappe and if he sees that as like a level he wants to get to. And Bukayo Saka was very much like, I don't look at it like that. These guys aren't my idols.
You can have your opinions, but I just see it a different way.
These guys aren't my idols. I don't look at them as like, oh, I need to get to where they are. Like, I'm there. I'm with those guys. And now we're on a pitch. I'm seeing guys say, I've seen Saka and Mbappe share the same pitch twice. And it's obvious who the better player was both times.
I just think, like you're saying, that we as Arsenal fans, me and you as Arsenal fans, cannot heap enough praise on Saka. And I also wanted to say to my earlier point about Arteta instilling belief, I think like a large part of that was because Saka's back in the starting lineup.
100%.
And I think even just that alone, like Arsenal go from a team that struggled to score versus Everton on the weekend and struggled to score versus teams prior to this game to now just having instant belief that we can beat Real Madrid.
Yeah.
At home.
And that
Because
also
Saka's
comes
back.
from like what Saka does on the pitch. It's not just the name, as much as it is the name, Saka on the team sheet.
He shows you on the pitch.
When he gets the ball on the pitch, the rest of the team
squaring up my man.
Like that ball he flashes across.
This is your best player?
Everybody else in the team's thinking Rice has his head on his hands.
I didn't know he had that one.
Yeah.
You know,
right?
I it's just so good to see as an Arsenal fan, Saka come through the academy and now be on the world stage with Vinny and Mbappe and these guys and hold his own. Or be better than them.
Yeah, not just hold his own.
You know, like it's just so good to see the like linear progression of Saka in all phases of the game, sort of physically, mentally, technically, all phases of the game. Each year improve, each year get better, and each year have turn more and more non-believers into believers.
Yep.
It's just it's a feeling that you can't really describe too well, because I think specifically because it's come through the academy. It's not like signing someone and they turn out to be a good signing. That happens. That feels great. We love that. All football fans love that. But this guy's come through. He spent every single second of his career at the club.
Yep.
He's not even done a loan. Saka's not done one single loan. We've not shared him with anybody. Saka never has to not put his hands up, put his hands up when he scores a goal to not celebrate versus a team because he spent time at that team and he respects them.
Well, he doesn't know what professional football looks like away from London Colney.
Outside of,
or sober.
The sober,
sober
Ruti.
yeah, whatever, yeah.
And I just, bro.
And the closest thing we can say, Nick says it, I say it now, it's just my son. My actual son. That's how I feel. I don't know if I will love my son this much.
And he's not even 100%. We know he's holding stuff. I knew, and this is why I also give the Declan Rice goals so much credit, is because I think Saka would have come off earlier had Declan Rice not scored the goals that he'd scored. Yeah. There was a point in the game, especially after the first one, where I was like, I don't know how long we can actually have Saka out. And I was wondering, I was like, what does Arteta do? Where it's 0-0 or we're 1-0 up and you can't take off Saka, can you? But he's not fully fit. So at some point he might become a liability defensively.
Yeah. Which you can't have with Vinny.
Exactly. So how does that work?
Yeah.
You're going to get booed if it's 0-0 or even just 1-0 and Saka comes off and any game state changes, they score, whatever, you're going to get booed. So for Saka to come back and not be fully fit and play as well as he's played, bro, the squaring up of Jude Bellingham more than once. I'm just going to dribble around you more than once. All of that kind of stuff to last the 70 minutes that he did, 75 minutes, whatever it was that he did.
I think 25 minutes of that was just adrenaline.
Yeah. And I think the adrenaline, that 25 minutes comes after, well, not 25 minutes, but a large part of that comes after Declan Rice's first one.
Yeah.
And then the extra second boost comes after the second one, where it's like, I can't go off now.
Yeah. And I think he was feeding off the atmosphere the whole game.
Yeah. He's really arrived. Like, he's really, really, truly arrived. Like, Arsenal fans, he arrived a long time ago. We've been there as Arsenal fans, how good Saka is and where he could go and how he could take it. But I feel like this is the point when the mass exodus of casual fans that have bad things to say about Saka start to disappear and to deplete. And I think it's even crazier because if you would have told me that Saka would get world-class shouts during this season, it's because he's had a phenomenal year. He's played and he has had a phenomenal year, but he's played 30-something games and he's got 30-something goal contributions.
Yeah.
But it's almost not, well, individually, it's worked in his favor 3 months out the game.
Yeah.
Because as soon as he comes back, everyone's like, oh yeah, by the way, he has to be.
And everybody's seen what it looks like without Saka for 3 months. And
I never thought he would have got into it via an injury.
Yeah.
But because he's been injured for 3 months and his hamstrings have fallen off and he's come back and he's just still as good as your right winger.
Yeah.
Or better than your right winger. It's
the difference, you can attach that world-class phrase to a player when you see the difference they make to their team. Right? For 3 months, people have watched Arsenal and it's like you say, struggle to break down, struggle to do whatever. And I've been saying it's been difficult to watch. For a long time.
Yeah. Someone said shut him down for the season. Yeah. Someone we know after the West Ham game said to shut him down for the season.
Don't bring him back. Let him rest up. No, we need this guy because I need to watch this guy play football for my own sanity. And I said to you, I think it was yesterday that for me personally, the Foden thing, the Palmer thing. They wanted to talk about Saka and say Saka had to do it in the Champions League. I'm seeing Palmer play Legia Warsaw earlier today, and he's doing nothing. But Saka has to come and turn up in latter stages of Champions League quarterfinals consistently, right? Do it last year against Bayern, again this year against Real Madrid, and others just seem to be able to get I don't know if it's an underbelly
thing. Hashtag underbelly.
But look,
to get best player in the league shouts.
I know where I've always stood. I know where I've always been. And yeah, it was great to see, man. Like, you can tell how much Saka, we've said this about Lewis Kelly and Ethan, they're the closest thing to a fan on the pitch. The same goes for Saka.
Yeah.
And seeing his emotion when we score goals and when we do things like that, it is just
I think he knows how it's true to that point. He knows how equally mad it is. We haven't played Real Madrid for 20 years. Saka would have been a toddler or a child, when that game happened. So how crazy we feel for beating Real Madrid 3-0 is equally how crazy Saka feels because he's watched and played for Arsenal his whole career, and he's never seen this, and now he's a part of it.
Because Miles and Ethan probably weren't even born so we were on reading the madness. But before we get to them, there's two players. Well, I'm going to link them in together here, because almost everybody didn't give us a chance in this game, right? Bat said you'll score 1, but you'll concede 5. Arman told me that you might win the home game, but you'll lose 3 or 4-1 in the second game.
Which would be enough.
I said to him, so even if we lose 3-1,
which would be enough.
Lies, 1% chance, whatever else, anybody you speak to, there's no chance. And a large part of that came from an injury to Gabriel last week, and also the fact that nobody believed that Mikel Merino, playing as a striker, could compete with Mbappe, Vini, Rodrigo, and Bellingham.
Yeah.
So those two guys, Farmer Jakub and Marine, both of them need their praise.
100%.
You can pick which one you want to talk about first.
I will do Marino just because, oh, man. I don't know where to start. Exactly. I don't know where to begin.
We have to start with the finish.
I was going to say on Marino, it's not just that Marino's scoring goals. Marino's scoring a variety of goals.
Yeah. But it could just be the Marino scoring goals.
That's what I'm saying.
That could just be,
kind of like,
live off that.
Kind of like the whole, you can beat Real Madrid 3-0 and that doesn't matter because you've beaten them 3-0. But the context of how we've beaten them 3-0 makes it even better.
Yeah.
It's not just that Marino scoring goals, because even if he was just scoring goals, even if he only scored 6 penalties, I would still be, how was Marino, how does he keep on doing this? But the caliber of goals, the variety of goals that Marino was scoring, the timing of the goals that Marino was scoring, oh man, it just feels so good. It just feels so good. Mikel Merino is on a tear. They're comparing Mikel Merino's stats to the best strikers in Europe since Marino scored versus Leicester, who has more goals, stuff. And he's up there. He's up there with anybody. Bro. And this is our makeshift 3rd, 4th choice midfielder.
I mean, who was the number 9 for Real Madrid on the pitch?
Yo, I love everything that's going on with the Mikel Merino transition. I'm so here for it. I'm so here to see it till the end of the season. Man, look, and it's not just the goals for Merino, man. He's the seamless transitions. I need you up top for 70 minutes. Now I need you in midfield for 30 minutes. On the weekend, I need you in midfield for 60, 70 minutes. Like, there have been a lot of like ups and downs for Merino this season. Fans being like, I see it. Fans being like, I don't see it. Type stuff, but his application for the last 6 weeks, bro, has been phenomenal. It's vindicated every reason Arteta spent so long chasing him.
Yeah, genuinely.
It's vindicated every reason why Arteta spent so long chasing him.
And the goal, man, you mentioned about a variety of goals. The movement to peel off Rudiger, right? The Lewis Skelly ball. And then
the finish.
Merino to left foot, cultured, swing that, start it outside the post, bring it back in.
Those are the only ones that beat Courtois.
Exactly. Again, he's got to beat the 6'6" best goalkeeper in the world.
Unless it starts outside the post, you have no chance of that beating Courtois. He's just going to get a hand.
Courtois can't even get fingertips on it and push it onto the. It's just past him.
Before he has time to react.
Unbelievable finish from Mikel Merino, and I've said it before on the podcast, and Nick's actually got on to me about giving Merino praise.
Flowers.
But I'll always be here to give Merino praise because the guy's not a striker.
Yeah.
He's a Spanish midfield player.
Yeah. He's never played striker.
Yeah,
he's never done a stint.
To the Premier League, bag goals in the Premier League, and then go to the Champions League and bag goals. Although we know Merino scored more goals against Real Madrid than any other team in his career.
Maybe that's just what he does.
The Madrid killer.
Maybe that is just what he does.
You said we have the Hossalu.
It's true.
We have the Hossalu this time.
He's not done.
There's another leg. But yeah, Merino, man, you've done wonders for us this
and
season.
And 3-0 is alright.
Because we even spoke about the Leicester game and where we would have been.
Yeah.
Had we lost that one or even drawn it.
I don't want to think where we would have been.
right? And what it would have looked like, no Havertz.
The feels of the season would have been different.
You know what I'm saying?
And the 3-0 scoreline, to give Mourinho more credit, the 3-0 scoreline is just so deserving. Yeah, it's just so deserving. It's a tie changer. The complexity. 2-0, I'm nervous. Anything can happen at the Bernabeu.
100%.
3-0, I'm not saying it's done, but I'm confident that Arsenal can go through.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all credit to him. Literally, like, the timing of the goal, everything, the Madrid comeback, it was all done.
Yeah,
it was all of it was done. It was Arsenal's day. It's such a like full stop exclamation mark at the end of this game and everything that was going on.
And we know nobody wants to see Mourinho score. No rival fans want to see Mourinho score.
Yeah.
So, but look, we did keep a clean sheet because farmer Jakob Kiwi or JK Penitentiary. And look, we're two Kiwior guys. We understand what Kiwior brings, but I think we were both very aware that like Kiwior's probably going to chalk one up in this game.
Try to.
Right? Yeah. First 10 minutes. But after that,
flawless.
Looked like I was watching Gabriel.
No difference.
Right? But I looked fair play to Saliba as well, because in those first 10 minutes and whatever, when Kiwior maybe has one or two moments, Saliba mops it up. And we said that before. We were like, with Saliba, you're just going to need to hold his hand. I'm just going to expect you to be able to do that because you're at a level. And realistically, Gabriel's been holding your hand for most of the season. Return the favour. But for Kiwior to come in against that front four, I don't need to say it again. The players there, Ballon d'Or nominations, the champions of Europe, guys who have scored however many goals. And for Kiwior to play how he played, I think, how many like post-match reactions did we watch of people saying Kiwior?
Yeah. I think it's just because everybody, when we've said it, like when Gabriel went down, there was more than an expectation, a word higher than expectation that Arsenal would score, the inevitability that Arsenal would score. Like it wasn't like, it was just confirmed we're going to concede, in this game. Kiwior's in there, there's no Gabriel, the defensive unit is broken, all of that stuff was going on. Man,
Mbappe's gonna feast.
Bro, did Kiwior have different plans? I think I think for Kiwior though, I was saying off air that like it's kind of crazy for Kiwior to be Kiwior and to not play that many minutes or to play infrequently, but to have started 2 back-to-back quarterfinals year after year versus the 2 biggest clubs. I think last year helped him so much because last year I was so critical of him.
Yeah.
And I loved what he gave us. He'd given us like 12 games of just like, yes.
Left back.
Yeah. Like, yes, we need you. You've done it. Clean sheet, all of the rest. He was solid. He was at the level. And then he got to the Champions League level and it was like, okay, well, now we know. Now we know that there's a difference and Kiwior can only handle certain amounts and all this kind of stuff. I think the mentality from Kiwior to sort of come back and avenge himself, I think he just kind of realized, look, I killed him last season and sort of deservedly so, but I also feel like when it's your first Champions League quarterfinal ever, and it's Bayern Munich and it's Sane who's twisting you up.
Also, like, I don't know if you really did kill him, so to speak, because there's also a level of like, we don't expect Kiwior
exactly
to be
this guy.
Yeah.
But I think this season, Kiwior was just like, well, at Champions League quarterfinals, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you play. It doesn't matter if it's Bayern or Madrid or a Porto, whoever it is. There's no room for mistakes.
Yeah.
And I think that was just so clearly his mentality going into this game. And obviously that doesn't mean that you won't make mistakes. Yeah. But I just think that Kiwior mentally thought that I'm not out of place. I'm not going to be the liability. I'm not going to be the one that they latch onto and try and start 2-man game runs on and all this kind of stuff. But he was so solid, did everything he needed to do. And he's next to an 18-year-old. It's not like obviously Saliba's there. Saliba's still very young. But it's not like it's... Because, with Lewis Skelly, I love it because Gabriel's right next to him. So it's like whatever sort of mistake Skelly makes, I expect Gabriel to cover for him. Yeah, it's like Kiwior, he's got it out of his mind that like I need to cover for Skelly. I just need to do my job, help everybody else out. And I think the clean sheet, boy, is as good as the 3 goals. It's as good as
Genuinely,
scoring three.
genuinely.
It's as good as the double free kick.
Maybe not the 3 that we did score, because that's nuts. But yeah,
it's as good that I didn't expect. I expected to win, but I didn't expect to keep a clean sheet.
Nobody, like in the Doctor Strange.
No one's, realms of reality.
Like how many possibilities do we survive? Nobody thought an Arsenal clean sheet.
And as you said at the top of the pod, he probably should just be the guy for big games from here on, or if not every game. There's only probably 10 or 12 games left to the end of the season. You know, like he should probably just be the guy until the end of the season.
Look, the thing with Kiwior, and I agree with your point about like learning from last year, but also like there's really only one reason that Kiwior played against Bayern last year and why Kiwior played against Real Madrid this year, and that was because he was fit. Right? That's the only reason, and maybe that's being a bit harsh on him and whatever. But if other guys are fit, if Tomiyasu's fit, if Calafiori's fit, obviously Gabriel's not. I wouldn't say he's injury prone. It's unfortunate that he's picked this one up, so whatever. But if Tomiyasu's fit, he can play there. Timber wasn't fit last year. Obviously did the ACL, so Calafiori, all these guys. Kiwior himself has put himself above Zinchenko, right, and left that one in the dust.
Yeah.
He's more of Arteta's defender, it seems, than Kieran Tierney.
Yeah. And Arteta tried Tierney at centre back early on.
Right. So I just give Kiwior the praise because we sit here and we're like, bare minimum Calafiori owes us a Kiwior season.
Right?
Bare minimum Tomiyasu owes us what Calafiori's given us this season.
Yeah.
Right. But both those guys are out come crunch time of the season. Yet again, Kiwior is one of the only people that is fit and available. So he has to come in and play, and he does his job.
And I mean, that is why Arteta so clearly loves him. So clearly loves him. It's invaluable to have a guy who can come from the cold and still operate at a certain level. And it's not the Gabriel level. It will never be the Gabriel level.
Yeah. And we don't need it to be.
We don't need it to be. But we do need a guy who can come in and operate at a level out of the cold, out of nothing.
100%.
Yeah. And then also be put back on the bench for a couple of weeks because the starters are back and we need you again here. I need you to be here.
Yeah.
And look, you need, in the NBA, they always say you need the other guys.
Yeah, the role players.
You need the other guys. Kiwior is the definition of our other guy.
Bro, I'm going to start calling him Drew Holiday.
And he's got the equivalent of 15 points, 20 points off the bench. He's 3 from 4 from deep. He's made some clutch free throws. He's done it all today.
And look, we want to talk about guys who are getting 15, 20 points, We can very quickly say Saliba put up 40 points.
40 points, easy. Yeah.
Saliba, flawless performance.
40, 20, and 10.
Yeah, nothing negative to say. You held that back line together. You did exactly what you needed to do. You were instrumental in build up. Saliba, well done. But when you play Real Madrid, Vinny and Rodrigo, 2 of the best wingers in the world, potentially, obviously with Mbappe, whatever, 2 of the Real Madrid's best players. You're not going to stand any chance against Real Madrid unless your fullbacks can cope, right? And I'll group them together here, and we can have 2 separate conversations on Yuri and Timber and Miles Lewis-Skelly. Firstly, because I think there's more to say on Miles Lewis-Skelly, we'll quickly say on Timber that for Timber to do what he's done this season, and we've spoken about him this season, so I'll try and focus it on this game because it's Vinny. In my opinion, that is the best left winger in the world.
The
guy who potentially could have won Ballon d'Or. The guys who are saying should win Ballon d'Or this year. That is, in my opinion, probably the toughest test you might ever get. And I don't think Yuri and Timber gave him a sniff all game.
It's we said it like months ago that Timber, we're impressed how Timber's hit a wall and continued, even despite hitting a wall, to just sort of push through, stay at a level, not get injured, not need to be dropped for 3 to 4 game stints because
he's literally played every 3 days.
I've just I've got so much love. I've got so much time for Timber. He's Mr. Consistent, man. And this is not to go too big picture, but this is where I will give Edu and Arteta his credit because they did sign a crop of players like their whole transfer strategy was over guys that were gonna be who they are, be consistent over periods of time. And Timber's proves he's ticked the boxes. He's like a Marino. He's like a Ben White. He's like Kiwior, Gabriel, who have just been consistent for us. Yeah. He's not a streaky player. We don't have like, some good Timber games, some bad Timber games. We just have Timber games.
Yeah.
Timber's gonna give us this every game. And I mean, obviously, as you say, like the quality of the opposition today was significantly elevated, and Timber still had the Timber game.
Yeah.
Good defensively, offered us something offensively.
Yeah.
Just solid all round, no complaints. Not a moment where I'm like, "Oh, Timber was poor there," or something's gone wrong. Something's gone wrong here. He's been ripped. I can't believe he's ripped Timber like that. And it's been like that for weeks. It's
been like season, that. Really. I haven't seen anybody really like go at Timber like that.
I've just got more than enough time for someone that can be that consistent and that good and offer us that much. And we never once thought we had a problem with Ben White. Yeah. Not one Arsenal fan ever said that there's a problem with Ben White, and I think we need to look for other options.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, if Timber isn't going to be a left back, it's definitely not curtains for Ben White. But it might be a bit of we need to rotation things. We need to make sure the games are for certain people. And
well, look, to win the league, you just need both of them, right? Because, like we say, because of the Ben White injuries, Timber's he's had to play every 3 days, and he probably has like muscle over.
Yeah. He's in the red. He's been in the red for months.
The physio's are saying you need to give Timber some rest.
Yeah. But Timber's saying, "I'm good,
right? Yeah,
I'm ready."
So, to go and to compete on 4 fronts, which this squad is being built to do, you need both those guys. Especially if the other clowns are still going to be clowning around with their injuries, right? Chilling with Dua Lipa in boxes. He better be back on the training ground. Because at left back, we've got an 18-year-old who's having to step in, play Champions League quarter-final against Real Madrid, against Rodrigo, Miles Lewis-Skelly.
I don't even know. I think it's a new toy thing, but how you've spoken about not having the words for Saka, you can't heap enough praise on for Saka is exactly how I feel for Lewis-Skelly. So much so that I don't know. It's tough to get animated to speak about him. If you don't respect and rate what Lewis-Skelly has done, I simply shut down the conversation. I have no time for you. You clearly don't understand. I think it's kind of like how I was saying with Saka. Never been on a loan. Lewis-Skelly has never done 15 games, 20 games, 30 games for another professional establishment where he's got experience and can bring that back to Arsenal to grow his career. He's gone straight from under 14s to 16s to 18s to the first team. And he's at the level. And this is Real Madrid.
He's our best left back.
This is a Real Madrid in the quarterfinal. He's at the level. He's not out of place. He's not worried. They're not ripping him down his wing.
Yep.
They're not, it's not a weak side thing. It's nothing of the sorts. But it's beyond crazy to think of Lewis-Skelly's ceiling, as well as to already acknowledge what he's done for us this season.
And there's you watch Arsenal play Real Madrid in a game like that, and everybody's aware of the magnitude of the game, right? And for most 18-year-olds, they probably shrivel up slightly, or it becomes a bit different for them because it's Real Madrid now. It's a Champions League quarter final. The stakes are raised infinitely.
Yeah.
Right? Even Kiwior, I don't even know how old Kiwior is. Maybe he's like 23, 20, whatever. Yeah. Last year against Bayern, he was nervous. You could see that a bit and whatever. Miles Lewis-Skelly was taking the ball in positions where he had 3 players around him. And he was trying to go forward, trying to get through those players. Most of the time, he did get through those players. And that's obviously a quality thing. But there's a mentality thing.
Yeah, I'm willing to take this on.
Right? Of give me the ball in these tight areas. Right? And it's not Thomas Partey asking for it. We know Thomas does that. But Thomas is 30. Almost 31.
Yeah, he's been through it all.
He's been doing this for 15 years.
Yeah, he's been through it all now.
Right? Declan Rice has played loads of Premier League football. Right? We talk about Saka and Saka getting the ball and being like, I'll put the team on my back. But Saka's been doing that. Miles Lewis-Skelly, like you say, he might have played 15 professional games.
Yeah.
First team men's professional games.
Yeah.
and he's playing Real Madrid, and he's saying, "Give me the ball, and I'll take this ball forward. I won't feel the pressure. I won't play the occasion. I'm just going to play my game
It's crazy
in any situation."
It's crazy that the when Skelly and Partey were proper on the double pivot. I mean, it was all game, but in the first half, Raya was like fizzing balls into Skelly, and even I was looking at Raya like, bro, Raya, chill. Maybe go long here. Maybe only find Partey if his Partey is in between the lines. Maybe protect Lewis Skelly.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Lewis Skelly's got his back to goal versus a Real Madrid press pinch.
Mm.
He's never played Champions League quarterfinals before. Football at this level, 15 games only. All that stuff that you've just mentioned, and bro, it's like it just doesn't phase Lewis Skelly that Modric and Mbappe and Valverde and Rodrigo, and if he loses this ball in this scenario, it's done. It's over. We concede the goal. It's a goal, a red card, or a penalty.
It's almost like he's doing the Saka thing of like, these guys aren't my idols. But obviously they might be. But
Modric, if Lewis Skelly gets played 15 or 20 like senior level games, Modric has like 6. He's got 6 Champions League medals.
Yeah. Modric 720.
So he's played a bare minimum of 6 Champions League finals.
Yeah.
So like half of Modric's games or half of Lewis Skelly's professional games, Modric has just played the Champions League finals alone.
Yeah.
He's just played that in Champions League finals alone. And Lewis Skelly's not feeling the pressure. He wants him on his back. He's ready to dribble past him, go around him.
It's honestly, I said this about Lamine Yamal when we did a pod after the Euros of like, Lamine Yamal just nothing seems to phase him.
Yeah. They have this fearlessness.
I know obviously there's Lamine Yamal's doing it by scoring goals and whatever, and Lewis Skelly's playing at left back, but that fearlessness, that mentality of just, well, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah. This guy has 6, doesn't matter. I'll just go around him.
So good to watch.
Enough love for Lewis Skelly, man. There isn't enough time.
Those are all the people I'd written down. Obviously, we said about David Raya. Is there anyone that you want to?
The only other person I'd have to mention is obviously Thomas Partey.
Yeah.
Right at the level again. I like with Rice as the best player on the pitch, or like best midfielder on the pitch. He wasn't outplayed by anybody in midfield. No one got the better of Partey in midfield. No one.
I don't remember Partey giving the ball away.
Yeah. And again, Modric has had 6 Champions League finals and all this kind of stuff. But Partey's, I'm going to get onto that one. I'm going to move it. That's my ball here.
Yeah. This one's going forward.
Yeah, these are my channels.
Yeah.
All of that kind of stuff. I just think it's unbelievable. And the trust, bro. Partey, a 90-minute rest on the weekend. If that doesn't tell you how important,
and he'll have another 90-minute rest this
if
weekend.
that doesn't tell you how important Partey is to the way we play, like Saka came on at half time. We won it up. We won it up at that point. Martinelli, these guys came on at half time. We won it up. Saka's obviously our most important player.
Timber came on at some point.
But Partey 90-minute rest. I need you, bro. I need you at full rhythm, capacity, body shape, and mind.
No risk,
no nothing. Yeah, yellow card, stay on to the very end. It's not even. I was saying at the beginning of the season, I know we said this before in the pod about how shocked we were after the first like 6 or 7 weeks. It's not even a rotation thing between Partey and Jorginho. It's just Partey.
Yeah.
And whatever minutes are left, go to Jorginho.
Yeah.
It's just Partey. If Partey's fit, Partey plays.
Jorginho will start on the weekend.
And isn't that crazy because of how much we know Arteta's a fan of Jorginho?
Yeah.
We know how big a fan Arteta is.
I think we know
Jorginho.
how big a fan Arteta is of Thomas.
We only know through Arteta's actions.
Yeah.
Because
when Thomas is fit, he plays.
It's not a rotation team.
Yeah.
It's not you. Some minutes for you, some minutes for me. It's all minutes for Partey. Whatever's left.
Yep.
For Jorginho.
Even last year when Jorginho came in and he was doing the job he was playing every week, as soon as Partey was fit again, those last 10, 15 games or whatever, Partey's back in.
So, I'm such a big Partey fan, and for Partey to dish out the season that he's given us, I hope it's not his last. But even if it is, bro, thank you.
Yeah, agreed. And the last question on this, then we'll go to MVPs and rookies. Tie over?
Yeah. I don't think it's 100% over, but I really think I'm like at the sort of between 75 to 80 percentile. And I know that's like, guys are gonna put Real Madrid and all of the
Yeah, the
rest and da 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 da
Bernabeu and
da and da 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 da. And I will say this right now, there are gonna be some god awful decisions at the Bernabeu. I'm preemptively angry, preemptively annoyed.
yeah,
There are gonna be some god awful decisions at the Bernabeu, be it a penalty, a card, fouls,
yeah.
all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's going to be a moment where it's just clearly gone off the Madrid player, but the ref's given a throw into
Yeah,
Madrid or a
yeah,
goal
yeah,
kick, whatever it is. But even with that being said, I still find it, because of the laser focusedness that Arteta's going to have on this game, I just find it weird to conceive losing 4-0 at the Bernabeu, or to
yeah,
lose by of like 3-goal margin at the Bernabeu.
yeah, yeah,
I find it like really tough to wrap my head around. And it could happen. Madrid are that good. The aura is there. The quality of players is there. Maybe Rodrigo gets one, Mbappe gets one, Vini gets one, Jude gets one. But do we not get one?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, are we? I think we
Do we
can,
not get one?
especially given the game state and how much Madrid are going to have to fly forward and send players forward. We might be. We should. But look, yeah, I'm with you. But obviously, never say tie over because it's Madrid and it's the Bernabeu.
Yeah, I hear that, bro. No one, as a Madrid fan,
And we spoke off air about Bayern last year, and
no one knows more than me how ridiculous this Madrid juice gets. There's been so many times where I thought maybe we don't come back from this one, and someone somehow, some way
yeah,
becomes a hero. Yeah, but this would be over and beyond anything we've ever seen. I would really struggle to wrap my head around how legally anybody can. It's not just against anybody, but we're a defensive team. That's our identity, is being a defensive team.
yeah. But I just don't know how much it matters when you go to the Bernabeu.
I
Your
agree. If it was
identity
two,
and
if it was 2-0,
yeah,
if
yeah,
it was
yeah,
1-0, and it's just that if they score three, it's not that, you're right. It doesn't have to be an open game for Madrid to score three, but if they score three, it's not that Madrid are also this defensively rigid. Their identity is scoring goals.
yeah. So we should go and score one. Agreed. Look, it's going to be a good game next week. MVPs and rookies of the week. There were some other good Champions League games. I've got PSG
Yeah, of course.
as an entirety. Desiree Doué with an unbelievable goal. Not to be fair, they were all.
They're all
The
no
Doué,
match.
yeah, the Doué one was super serious. You wanted to say some stuff on
Enrique, man, I've got a lot of time and respect for Enrique, bro. It's not that he's even an underrated manager. He's not. Guys, not that Enrique's serious, but I think that when he took over the PSG job, there was like skepticism, not about whether or not he would win League One and all this kind of stuff. We knew that was wrapped up, but like skepticism about post Mbappe, Messi, Neymar. Where does PSG, like, I don't think many people would have expected them to reach the Champions League semi-final post those three leaving in the first season, and I think it's very plausible. Yeah, like if not a probability.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to give Luis Enrique his credit, because he's turned them into this like almost Galactico type machine that never really got over the line to an actual team.
Yeah.
An actual team. And PSG, I was telling you yesterday,
a team that work hard for each other.
It's not even just working hard for each other. They have genuine sort of grit and determination. And the cliche of PSG is that, remember Martial, when he was talking in French, he was like, the mentality.
Yeah.
You know, I can't remember what tie it was. It could have been the remontada time when they lost. Like there was like this whole cliche about PSG don't have the mentality to really go and win a Champions League, because when it gets tough, when they're a goal behind or when a team's putting it on them, it's all individuals. They crumble. Yeah, but we've already seen in this campaign alone so far PSG's ability to go goals down, to suffer setbacks. Like how tough would that loss have been at home to Liverpool last round?
Yeah, 100%.
They played a phenomenal game, probably maybe their best game of the season, Enrique said at the time, but you've lost 1-0 and now you need to go to Anfield.
Yeah.
So like that's my credit to Enrique. Is it's not just that he's got them playing like a team. It's not just that the Doué and these guys are balling. It's that mentally they seem to be in a different place.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
seem to
yeah.
think that they can overcome things. They seem to think
I
that
still don't think that PSG are gonna win it, but like you say, they've come a long way from just this like
we fold.
yeah, yeah,
Whenever there's
yeah.
pressure, we fold.
And there's that element of like with Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar. I just never thought that team was gonna win the Champions League because, and I've said this before, you can't defend with 7 players,
Yeah.
right? In the modern game, you can't do that.
I never thought that would the reason why they wouldn't win, because I do think that Champions League ultimately it just comes down to moments of brilliance, quality. Like you can defend disjointedly and not win. But I think the issue now,
But they always used to get knocked out because they were just
yeah. I think the issue now is when you get the hybrid managers, the Artetas,
yeah.
who like it isn't just one identity. I say that we're a defensive team, but I wouldn't necessarily say that defense is our identity, but I wouldn't necessarily say that Arteta sets us up only to defend at times. Like we scored 7 versus PSV, just in the last round, you know. So I think that's where it comes. That's where I think the PSG teams have come unstuck, or these like sort of certain teams have come unstuck, is when a hybrid manager comes along who's like, bro, I will play whatever the game state is, and ask my guys to do that.
I'm trying to think who knocked PSG out last year.
Mbappe was there.
Was it Barca? Or they beat Barca?
They definitely beat Barca recently, but that could have been 2 years ago. Mbappe was there. Neymar was there last year.
I think
but Neymar was injured.
You know?
Yeah, it was Dortmund.
Yeah.
It was Dortmund.
Right, and that to me, that's just the epitome because we know what Dortmund are. Yeah, but Dortmund, at the very least, they're a team. Yeah, they'll defend together, they attack together. But yeah, look, Enrique deserves
Mad
props.
love, mad credit.
Vitinha, it was great watching Vitinha play yesterday. I've got Lautaro.
Yeah, phenomenal goal.
Great goal.
Thuram.
Yeah.
Inzaghi.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, Inzaghi.
Aside from football, I've got the Clippers. They're the number 4 seed now, which is unbelievable.
I'll have to
before Kawhi came back, they were in the play-in. Down in 7, 8, 9, 10.
Talk about plus minus, huh? What's Kawhi's plus minus?
Return to norm.
I'll give one to Pep. I'm not gonna lie. The secret phone conversations with Arteta behind closed doors.
We'll need that again next week.
Arsenal start playing differently. Things are a success.
Guys are saying, "Where's this performance been all season?" It's from the Pep juice. Rookies. So Harold Kane.
Yeah.
What more is there to say?
I'll give one to Company as well. I feel like I think people expected Bayern to lose to Inter, like majority. Like I feel like you know, but I think to lose the first, I really thought Bayern would get a bare minimum draw at home and force like not a miracle, but like force something serious out of Inter in the second leg. To lose the first leg, to almost sort of
the way they lost it,
almost just roll over and lose that first leg. I think that's the lack of technical nous, and all that stuff that will come down on Company.
Yeah. Agreed. Any other rookies? Anything for Draymond?
Jar one, I'm playing it by ear.
Okay,
I'm playing it by ear because it's semi funny, but semi ridiculous.
Yeah. If he gets a ban, like a game ban,
then it's not. Then
playoffs, and
then it's crazy. Then it could even just one.
Yeah.
One's enough to skew the whole thing. You know,
Luka, the Mavs yesterday.
Yeah, I'll give him an MVP. I don't know. It's tough because it's like, well, he gets an MVP for getting 45 points. You know, but I would just say that I've never seen anything like it.
That was crazy.
I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen fans cheering a guy scoring buckets against you, your team.
Yeah. The NBA is a bit mad. Like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Exactly.
Because I'm like, if Saka leaves Arsenal, I'm not cheering him when he comes and dunks on Arsenal.
Fabregas was my goat. There wasn't a hoop and an applaud from me.
But it is different in the NBA, isn't it? That like I can imagine how many people love the Dallas Mavericks because of
Because
Luka.
of Luka.
So and now Luka's gone.
Yeah.
But you have the jerseys and you have
The transition from
and,
Dallas fans to Lakers fans.
right? So, and in the NBA, I feel like it can be more focused on, I support this team because of this
Because
guy.
of this reason. Yeah.
But look, hopefully you guys enjoyed that episode. We're gonna try our best to keep this pod interesting for the rest of the season, even though
the Premier League doesn't want us to.
It's failing us. So we'll keep coming up with ideas. Let us know what you think. Any Arsenal fans, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Is that the greatest night at the Emirates? Any Chelsea fans, are you happy with your result against Legia Warsaw? Are you looking forward to more Conference League games? Tottenham fans, I don't know what the score is against Frankfurt currently, or United are playing at the moment as well. But look, there's more to talk about, more European football on the way. So thank you guys for listening. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that. And we'll catch you next week.
Peace.